Hello everyone, and welcome to your video which is going to explain the product rule and the quotient rule for logarithms. So here we have the product rule, which remember is two numbers multiplied together make a product. So the log of m times n is going to be equal to the log of m plus the log of n. Likewise, in the quotient rule, which implies division, the log of m divided by n is going to equal the log of m minus the log of n. So that seems fairly straightforward, but I think we should do a few examples so that you feel completely comfortable with it. Let's focus over here on products first. So this is multiplying. So if I told you that the log of 48 was what we wanted to break down, you would have a couple of choices. You could break it down into the log of 6 plus the log of 8, or you could break it down into the log of 12 plus the log of 4. Why? Well, because 6 times 8 is 48, and 12 times 4 is also 48. Heck, if you wanted to, you could break it down into the log of 24 and the log of 2. You would just have to remember to take those two logs and then add them together. But that is how you could calculate the log of 48. Likewise, if I told you that I had the log of 8 and I wanted to add that to the log of 7, that would really be the same thing as calculating the log of 56, because 8 times 7 is 56. The log of 3 plus the log of 9, what would that be? If you said the log of 27, you would be correct. And here we have the log of 4 and the log of 11, which you could combine to equal the log of 44. So this is just showing that you can take these big numbers and you can break them down into separate logs using the addition function. And here, if you have the addition function, you can multiply them together and have that work out. Let's do some similar examples over here with regard to quotients. So for quotients, I can say that the log of 2, I could break that down into the log of 8 minus the log of 4. Why? Well, because 8, which would be m, divided by n, which would be 4, is 2, and I could calculate that by separating it out and putting a minus sign in between. So the log of 10, I could write, if I wanted to, as the log of 80 minus the log of 8. And I could also calculate that the log of 5 is the same as the log of 30 minus the log of 6. Do you see how that relationship is true? This number here is going to equal this divided by this, but we stick a minus sign in there. Let's do it the other way. Maybe it'll make more sense to you the other way. Log of 12 minus the log of 3. That is the same thing as the log of 12 divided by 3, which is the same thing as the log of 4. So that's another way to simplify logarithmic terms. Here we have the log of 20 minus the log of 4. Can you figure out what that equals? Well, that's going to equal the log of 20 divided by 4, which is log 5. And here's your last example. The log of 160 minus the log of 80. What does that equal? The log of 160 divided by 80, or the log of 2. So that is how you manipulate logarithms using either the product rule or the quotient rule.